Kicks off in autumn 2023, so get your squad together and prepare for the national leagues. We'll see you on the Rift. Hello everybody and welcome back to... We're getting ready to go into our second game of the day. It's going to be Nord versus Vanir. This is the game I thought was going to be closer, just purely because when you look at the standings of both of the teams, they're a lot closer to one another. They got a hell of a game to follow up after that first one. That was an absolute banger. I'm just going to throw straight to you, Aragon. What are we making of these teams right now?
Okay, TLDR for everyone watching who maybe isn't so accustomed to the teams. Nord, in my opinion, is a lot stronger. Vanir, they're kind of a one-trick team in terms of how they play. They very often kind of int and sprint at early game, and they come back with some crazy kind of play or just out-team fighting the enemy, which, in my opinion, isn't the most consistent strategy. Whereas Nord, you can really tell they develop this kind of synergy with their abilities, their team fighting, and that's how they generally win games. So, favor to Nord, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just one asterisk. Do we know who's playing ADC for Vanir today?
I believe it's Mox.
Is it Mox again?
I'm so sorry.
Liam Cole?
Mox.
Yeah, it's one of the. So this is what's interesting because I feel like Liam Cole was like Vanir's star player. He's not playing then Mokox came in, but Mokox has also been Vanir's star player since he's been in, and I kind of like what they've shown with him more than Liam Cole. So. It's a small sample size though, right? Vanir played 2 games with him, very small sample size, but they were able to beat down, I think they beat Verdant, didn't they? With
in a really big surprising upset.
Yeah, it was really shocking. So, I still think there's a bit of a question mark here for Vanir, and yeah, it's going to make this matchup very exciting.
Yeah, I think we're in for a real good one. I am a little concerned about picks and pans after that last game. For the love of God.
He's gone. For the love of goo.
For the love of goo. I really hope that Nord stop overvaluing Ash to continue his point. There he is.
Did my internet just die?
Yeah, a little bit.
You said for the love of goo, and I had your mouth open.
We agreed with you for what it's worth, so I don't know whether that was a Zach
for the love of goo, guys.
or what, but yeah.
He's gone again. Maybe we should just take it from here.
A slightly more flattering pose this time, right? Like, he looks. And he's.
What is going on?
How's that 500 treating you, Jake?
Do you know what the worst thing is? It's 900 speed.
900. That is illegal.
He's a lost cause, isn't he? I think we should abandon him.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a fun game regardless whether Jake's here or not. You mentioned you think that Nord is going to be kind of looking like they might be the favourites for this one. I still think I believe in Moxox. I really do. I think he's been quite impressive, and Vanir's played very well through him. So definitely could see an upset coming through from that. And also top side, I think will be really exciting. Kitano and Kachos are. Yeah. Kitano specifically, I think, is just a really good carry player, and like similar to what we would expect from Spooder in the last matchup. Like if we see him on like kind of bruiser champions, maybe like the Olas or the Dariuses. If Rumble is so popular, I think he has the champion pool to counter it, so that could be dangerous.
I agree. I think these top laners are at the very least like a middling towards top end, right? I think they're both pretty decent. I do think Catchcost was crutching on Poppy a little bit. You often see Poppy bans into the Nord side of things. But still, yeah, very good top laners. Unfortunately, for Nord right now, they don't really use catch costs like that. Typically, the plan and the game plan for Nord is they slow stack waves bot side, and then Indecision comes down and dives bot with Hiddo and potentially shot calling. But that's exactly what they do every single game. So I'm really excited to see if Vanir has something prepped, and hopefully they don't just roll over and die early game like they have been doing recently. As we head into Big Ban, exciting stuff.
Hopefully everything's
Jake hasn't
settled.
DC'd in a while, so
I haven't DC'd for like 30 seconds, which is maybe a good sign. Man, 900 speed, what can I say? Right, let's see what the bans are going to be. The Ivern and the Maokai getting taken away, followed up by the Poppy. I actually like that. I think it handles some of the strong picks at the moment really well. Let's see what else is going to get banned away, though. Rel Rumble's still up. That's the scary thing. For the love of goo, ban Rel Rumble.
I was surprised to see this Poppy ban from Nord. but I think it was maybe indicating they might have wanted to go for that LeBlanc first pick. But that's been read by Vanir, and they've taken that one away. Syndra's going away from Harbour as well. It is his most played champion this split. Might not be objectively a massive pick, but still. Liam Cole is actually the ADC for Vanir, I can see as well. It's not Moxox. They're going back to Liam Cole. But it is going to be the first pick in Rel. So, Aragon, you're a big fan of Rel, and it is going to be sat down first tier for, well, either Indecision or Seneca. We've seen them both play it, so...
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be Indecision. Preemptive warning, I am going to groan a lot at this champion. I think this champion is disgusting. You can handshake it with what you want. You can handshake it with the Kai'Sa. You know, Kai'Sa's equally busted, being built AP right now, pegs you in the chest with a W across the map, and then does it again a second later because the champ's balanced. But still, Rel being picked up is kind of a game winner to me. You can imagine that, you know, that there's this whole dynamic right now with Nautilus, Kai'Sa, Braum, and all these disengaged champions as well. Yeah, Kai'Sa actually, right now, if you take a look at the stats globally, it's super interesting. Kai'Sa is actually winning into Xayah really, really, really hard. Kai'Sa has like a 61% win rate or something, and then Xayah has a 42 in general. So interesting dynamic there, probably because Kai'Sa's so overtuned, but Azir now locked in, and Xayah Rakan to round out the compositions.
This is crazy for draft, because like normally you get like, I'm going to blind pick top. Okay, then I'll counter pick top. And then, you know, so you get like a really interesting phase 2 rounds of bans, but you've got both solo lanes slapped down for Vanir, no solo lanes slapped down for Nord, and then jungle and support obviously from the other side too. Like the only comparable pick here is the ADC. So these bans really could go anywhere. We'll see what they decide to do with obviously both solo laners being left to pick here still.
Thank God.
Rumble's getting taken away.
I can imagine Nord are going to pinch either support or... you got to take away Nautilus, right? I think like Nord, Leona, stuff, pairings that go with Kai'Sa that work well into the Rakana top tier bans. Unfortunately, you can't ban them all, so maybe you just ban none of them, right? Maybe you just deal with it. Xayah is pretty good into Nautilus in isolation, although it is an ult popper, so Xayah really doesn't really like it in that regard. However, maybe I imagine now Nord is going to ban away junglers as well. There's the Nord ban. There it is. I imagine Leona could follow, or a jungle ban.
See what they are going to look to ban away here on the side of Vanir as that timer is running down for them a little bit. Just having a think about what they're going to remove. The Jace is the final ban here. Don't want to be dealing with that in that Azir matchup. So now over back to Nord. They actually take the Alistar away. So they do leave that Leona open, which does potentially, well, could just potentially be their pick. I expect to see Vanir pick up their support at this point. Just kind of racking my brain on like what other supports are open and available and things that sync up with that Kai'Sa. It does feel like Leona is probably the best pick for them here. I can't really think of anything else that would really serve the role that they want out of this, and I think it would do really good for them. So they are going to pick that one up and then make sure that they have as good a jungle matchup as possible as they can. Although they do know that this Rel is going in the jungle as that Rakan's been locked in. So now it's over to Nord to pick their mid and their top laner for themselves.
So Pipibat on the side of Vanir has been pulling out some crazy stuff. I think last week we had 2 Belveths and Pipibat was one of them. I believe it was into the same matchup. And you have a Renekton top side, so you could skill Rift Heralds. Maybe they go for that. But Tristana actually making it through the entire draft, you know, through pick bans and solidifying herself as the AD mid of choice right here. Catch cost as well on the Kennen into Renekton. A really good matchup. It's incredibly unplayable and solidifying himself as the AP threat on the team as well.
That is a nasty team as well. The Gragas is kind of anti-synergy with the like Magnet Storm, but the Kennen is it's a similar thing to what the Rumble did in that last game. Is, you know, you pull them all in and then lay it down with more damage, but this time you've also got CC on top of that. I do not like the look of that Nord team. That is a scary team. So it's over to Vanir to find some kind of an answer here in their jungler. What can you pick? Kindred again?
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, Five Head called it the PP Belveth being slapped down. I mean, you got some voice synergy with Kai'Sa there as well. But
you need 3 Void for the.
You do need 3 Void. Maybe they've got like an emblem or something, you know, like a heart in backstage. But yeah, it's I do the thing that I like about Belveth is if you can secure Rift Heralds, it's like mega really useful, because like if you're not sure about how Belveth works, like similar to Viego, when you get shutdowns you can like take not the soul, but no, like the guy that dies leaves something and you pick it up. For Belveth you then transform, right? But it also works versus objectives, right? Where it's Dragon, Baron, Herald. But if it's Herald or Baron, it's when you transform, you become like goober buffed, right? And you get these spawning minions. That's when you see those like massive waves of voidlings that come down a side wave. It's because Belveth has killed the Herald or killed the Baron and taken its soul essentially. So you want to be able to secure those. It also extends the duration to like 3 minutes instead of just 1 or something like that. It's basically really important you can get early Heralds, and if you have a strong top side, strong mid side, then it will enable you to do that. And obviously Renekton is one of the stronger top sides. Can struggle though if left alone into the Kennen, so it's definitely gankable but still difficult to navigate, and I think that's going to be quite an important anchor point for this game.
Yeah. I will say this comp, I think they do have a way to play against this really heavy teamfight engage composition from the side of Nord, because Nord do have that crazy, Rakan, Rel, Kennen engage, but it's on Nord to find it, because I do believe they get outranged, right? They do have Liam Cole on this AP Kai'Sa variant where he can just sit back and fire those Ws and not get engaged on, and then engage only when, for example, Xayah has her R popped by something else. So I do believe that Vanir maybe can edge it out with this win condition, but I think Nord's team comp is so much easier to play. And if we've seen anything, across this split, is that ease of execution is super important.
Yeah, I think that is the big thing. And especially when, like one of the best champions in the game leans very heavily into that ease of execution, not mostly just because she is easy to execute, but like just her kit enables those kind of teams.
Just press R.
Yeah, you literally do just press R. But like you were saying, with the changes to the Q, with the fact that you now have a stun on the Q, it's just like, it's so easy to guarantee at least one person gets caught by the CC, but if the whole team get caught by that Magnet Storm, the Kennen then layers on top, like that's just a lost fight, like immediately lost fight. So, it's down to them to kind of handle the combo, and I think that's the big thing is, while Nord have drafted a very strong combo, we saw in the last game Domino kind of get outdrafted, and actually they stood up pretty well to the side of Verdant. Yes, a few light mistakes kind of lost that game, but honestly, it's still real. We've seen that it can be anybody's game. Like, as much as people like to say things are lost or won in draft, it's not always the case.
It's never the case, bro. That's one of my pet peeves in League of Legends is people calling it like, oh, it's just unwinnable. Oh, and then when it doesn't happen, they're like, oh, they're trolling. Like, nah, come on, man. There's so much.
That's a Disco Nunu player there.
Literally.
I'm going to give it a prediction, though. I think it will be... I just think both of them are going to fight, right? They're going to non-stop fight, and then Rel's going to find some crazy engage because the champ's crazy, and then the Rel's going to win the game for the team. Absolutely, I think that's what's going to happen, and I've got almost no doubt in my mind. That's my prediction.
Okay.
So you're telling me that Rel is going to engage in a fight, and then they're going to win the game because of it?
1v9, and it's guaranteed. Because
it's 1v9. Okay, we got a little bit bolder.
This champion cannot not find the engages. It's 2/2.
Yeah. No, honestly, from that last game, I'm inclined to agree. I think, honestly, we saw Domino in the previous game actually play like disengage relatively well, but it was just like repeated attempts eventually just kind of paid off. I'm curious to see, obviously you get stronger when you're playing it as a jungle, the Rel, because obviously you have access to more gold and more items. So it's almost less risky to take those kind of like jump forward engages as well on the Rel, because you're not rocking, like 1.5 items when everyone else is running like 3, 4. So you are going to be a little bit tankier, which means, if you do fail that engage, you do have another shot at it, which actually then kind of plays into what you're saying, Aragon, is Rel will find that engage and it's going to work.
Like to kind of take the focus off of Rel a little bit. I do agree that Nord's got, in my prediction would go to Nord here, but the question mark for me in this draft is around Vanir's carries, specifically in Cole and Harbo. They've never played the champions they're playing now. It's the first time they played them this split. There are no Azir games under Harbo's belt and no Kai'Sa games under Liam Cole's belt.
Yeah.
Not to say they can't play them. Obviously, I'm sure they can, but I do think that's like it's something. It's something that could play into how this game unfolds when you've got slightly less comfort coming through there instead. So yeah, that might be something that happens as the game goes on.
So the structure of this game is probably going to be, with Rel pathing down to bot side, this is super standard. What Nord like to do is they like to slow stack these waves and then dive bot side. It's probably going to be pretty difficult, honestly, versus this Leona. She's super tanky, but they do have the tools with that level 3, you know, on the Zyuricon to make some action down bot side. This is what they do every game, right? Regardless of what champions they're playing. I remember them drafting the lowest damage bot side I could absolutely ever imagine, which was like Rel jungle, Rakan support, and an Ashe, and they dive bot anyway, right? So I can absolutely imagine that they do this, and then maybe they give one gank topside, but usually they leave catch cost on an island. On the flip side, I want to see from Vanir, I want to see them survive these dives. Maybe, you know, PPBat shadows this dive, and then they play for level 6s and Heralds.
Well, we will have to see, as it does look like PPBat's actually going for a cheeky invade immediately off the bat. Will actually get seen out by Indecision, although does go the long way around. Is going to get spotted out by this ward on his scouting mission. And that could be a little bit dangerous here for PPBat. They knew he was there. PPBat smelt something was off and is just going to head back over towards his blue side. Obviously, will be clearing quicker, so can make little plays like that and honestly doesn't lose too much tempo off the back of it. Top's fun. Oh, my word. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, okay, look, this matchup is unplayable, okay? There are a few unplayable matchups if a player has hands, and this is one of them. The others are like Quinn, Nico, you know, these range champions, because Renekton he has a dash every 16 seconds, right? He just cannot gap close and trade enough or get onto the Kennen, because for some reason, Kennen E, the lightning dash, is about a 10-second cooldown. For goodness knows why, it's the best escape in the game. So yeah, you just see this under tower, constant harassment. And eventually, you know, as Renekton gets more fury under tower, he also gets, when he's below half health, he also gets more sustain and he just survives. But it is miserable.
Yeah, that looks like the most unfun game ever, man. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Not much.
No.
And
yeah,
trying to not die, basically, it seems like. He's got the teleport,
salvaging his
right?
situation.
That'll always help, like, he needs to, you know, get out of there and reset a little bit. Then really is just the story of trying to just lose gracefully. For me, it does just raise the question of what the purpose of this Renekton will be in this game. Whenever you're playing a lane that's unplayable for Renekton, I think it just becomes, yeah, it does just raise questions for me. Like, I'm not really sure how he's going to impact this game as it goes on, because you really want to leverage that early strength from Renekton, and if that's taken away from him, then what else does he have? We're seeing Indecision here on that rail, just sliding through bot side. It is a pushing wave towards Nord, so there is potential opportunity and no real good escapes here. Does that see him? That saw him though, right? Yeah. Even though it doesn't tag him, it gives a little bit of vision. Just enough for Vanir to get out of there.
PPBat's going to try and get Kakos. Kakos fast to flash away. That's a really nice fin for Kitano. Just gives him a little bit of safety as PPBat takes a minion. That's the tax. They are just going to shove this wave in, though. Make sure that Kitano can get himself as nice of a reset off as possible. As they're just going to flash forward. Fail the lockdown. That is so misfortunate. And now PPBat burning the flash onto Kakos has been alleviated by Kitano. Maybe getting a little bit too over-eager with that W.
Really, really questionable, honestly, because he does have that bone plating on the Kennen, right? It was up, so you just don't kill him. He is essentially invincible with that up, so... Yeah, really odd, abusing that flash advantage, but still, Kitano, nothing much is going to happen about it. He gets through the worst levels, he gets through that early lane phase, and now he's going to be able to, you know, potentially play for that Rift Herald, you know, getting more sustain through the Phage, which is a peculiar pickup. That's part of Sterak's and not Gore Drinker anymore. Am I trolling? You don't get Sterak's first item anymore. That's really, really bizarre. Regardless, let's look to see how they play like the 2v2s in the rivers and the 3v3s in the rivers now as Rift Herald spawns.
Yeah, we'll be looking towards that one for now, though. PPBat actually is on the other side of the map, just clearing up his jungle. We'll have to look to clear up towards the top side anyway, so should be set up. It's a nice little jump in there from Seneca. Actually, they find the route. Liam Cole has to flash and cleanse. Garfield flashes away, but he gets caught out by the Q. The Ignite is burning. They can't quite finish him up. A lot burnt there by Vanir, though, in the bot side, getting just a little bit too overeager. And Liam Cole now forced back a little bit as that's that Indecision may look for the dive. PPBat may look to try and play the counter gank here, smelling there is a potential play coming down. As Indecision, he's got that Hex Flash to get over the wall.
TP's available. Track
this is
Harbo
so
TP
scary.
and Katano TP.
They find him, jumping in. Garfield gets himself caught. PP back, trying to keep himself alive for the moment. They get the 3-man knockup, but that's first blood over to Seneca. Just trying to clear the wave out. Harbo has level 6, though. This fight could go wrong really fast if Harbo wants to. Not going to be able to find it. It does look like the two mid laners are just going to meet in the river as Oman takes a fair amount of damage, but Harbo also traded back onto.
I just have a lot of question marks around what Vanir were expecting from that play. It's like they read the play, knew the play was happening, and still fell for it.
No way! No way did that just happen?
Oh no, that is tragic. That is tragic. That's a great roam from Garfield, though. He got there just in time. Nicely done. Good
That's one of
assist
those
there for the
moments.
support, but that is
Yeah, that's one of those moments where you're like, why is the support here, bro? Why did that happen to me?
Literally.
I think it was just convenience, though, right? He was pathing through mid as he came and respawned, like, to go towards the Herald, and he just happened to get donated a kill. So I think Garfield's sitting pretty right now, pretty happy. As he passed back down to bot side, Rift Herald is spawning, though. Right, so with Garfield banning the Rift Herald here, this might be them saying, you know what, we concede it, we can't actually play for it, we deem your level 6 as stronger, as we tried to play for the bot side instead, and you could see that PPBat's actually pathing down to bot side, potentially towards lowest respawning caps.
Yeah, I also think with the fact they had so much top pressure and Kitano half HP, it was just undoable for them, so attention can go towards this this bot side and maybe looking towards that dragon for themselves. They've got pressure in that bot side. Oman has moved over as well, which does mean that Harbo can shove in the mid lane. So they can get the pressure they want to go for this. And look to take this dragon. But for now, people are quite happy just stealing away some jungle.
Does it quite quickly as well with this quadra slide that he has on Belveth. He's going to find himself a red buff too. Indecision is nowhere to be seen. Has already started falling behind on his jungle farm, which is somewhat to be expected in this matchup. But yeah, it's happening a bit earlier than I thought, and the fact that Indecision is still showing bot side here, I think it just proves that they have no idea this is going on, right? Like, I don't think this is a good answer to this play. We have got to push in mid from Harbo though, who's going to be roaming down a bot side, potentially maybe just getting some vision instead. Will spot out Indecision. So what does he do now? He can pick up his Krugs, and then what? You know, there's nothing left on the bot side of the map for him. Like, this should be just real depression hours for Indecision, not too much happening.
Yeah, and you could just see how they decide to place their resources, right? They have full belief in Hiddo. I believe Hiddo's the kill leader in the entire league, right? And it's partly because this is what they do. They just have Indecision, like playing the dog kind of jungler, where he can afford to give up some of these camps and just shadow bot lane for potential dives, crashes, so that Hiddo never gets left out, you know, whilst potentially securing dragons too, but they play full for bot side. On the other hand, you have Vanir, who I think they've done some scouting. Right, they've seen this is what they do, and you've had PPBat also shadow bot side too for the entire duration of the game to make sure none of these plays work out. So just a stalemate in the early game, and with these neutral objectives going to the side of Nord, we'll have to see where they place Rift Herald. Maybe they place it mid and then move to bot lane again. That would be my prediction regardless.
Yeah, I guess that's the real question, is who do we think actually is coming out on top of this? Yes, there's the Herald. Yes, there's going to be this Dragon #1. But, you know, is that going to lead in towards the snowball, towards the next dragon, and on towards the soul? Or is this just going to be a few neutral objectives and then a lot of farm going over to Vanir, who can then snowball out from that? Because, yes, there's a farm lead starting to build up for Hiddo in the bot side, but look at the jungle difference right now. There's a pretty significant farm lead getting built up by PPBat. He is really starting to come online here on that Belveth, and could be a real problem as we move a little bit later into the game.
Belveth pathing down bot side, and you can see loads of vision being placed down. Rakan contesting that river, and it's quite quiet, isn't it? It's really, really quiet. I expected more action. You know, maybe I'm a bit spoiled from the last game, but it just looks like a bunch of ping-ponging between prios and moving into the river. As PPBat maybe gets caught here. Yeah,
PPBat's going to get himself dashed away to safety.
Seneca?
Solar Flare goes a little bit wide there, a little bit of a mistake. Seneca does need to be careful, as PPBat still has a couple of dashes left. Is just using one, gets the smite,
secures
the steal. He's even going to get a couple of the little chickens on the way out and dashes away to safety. Belveth has way too many dashes, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. And it's not, you know, you can only do it in certain directions, but if you play it properly, it's essentially just 4 gap closes. Like, it doesn't really matter. You just move your model around and you can dash pretty much in any direction you want at any time. 2-level advantage now between the junglers, almost doubling the farm from Row over to Belveth. That's slightly suboptimal there for Row. I mean, I know she is like the supporty, the tank jungler. You don't need levels as much. If this was the other way around, it would be catastrophic for the game. But it means less, but still 2 levels at 12 minutes is fairly significant here. Even after Indecision got his camp and recalled, he's still only level 6. Yeah, we'll see though. This is the thing, right? It's nice that you're this ahead if you're PP bat, but you've got to actually leverage it and do something with it.
Yeah.
And you want to try and skirmish or take objectives or something like that. And because, you know, we don't have Herald for a while, we don't have Dragon for a while either. You know, where are you looking to make the play instead? Maybe now with a level 6 on the Leona, you can potentially look for more of a bot side focused play. But it really does need something needs to happen here for Belveth. Or else this level difference means absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
It looks like
things
they're
coming
actually
down.
not. Yeah. Roaming up towards the mid side, but it doesn't look like they're actually trying to stop the Herald or escort the Herald. It does still get the charge off, so Indecision gets a bit of gold injected into their pocket. As Kitano continues to have the most miserable day. Although, I will give it to Kitano. They're doing a very good job of keeping equal in this lane. Like, they are barely down in farm. And there's a wave pushing into them as well. So, not overall the worst experience for them. Well, definitely the worst experience for them, but not the worst performance by them on that front.
It feels bad, but it's looking good.
Yeah.
It's absolutely like you're down 4 CS in this matchup. Absolutely, you'll take that. Okay, here we go. Pipibat's now going to try and use this strength that he's found himself. I'm not sure this is going to work out though.
Oh, they find the lockdown. Kakos doesn't have that ultimate, does find a little bit of damage in response. I say a little bit. Pipibat's half HP'd. He finds the stun onto Pipibat as well. And that's all they can do. Just get a nice chunk onto Kakos and... Yeah, maybe you're right, Aragon. That dash is crazy. Yeah, that dash is real fun.
Yeah,
Dude,
just try
how
to
is
cool
Indecision
down.
still level 6? It's been like 3 minutes. Just get a level, please, I beg.
Yeah, I think junglers hit level 6 about 7 to 8 minminutes.
Kitano might be in danger. Oh no. There's no.
He's okay.
Oh, he's fine. He's fine. He did have to burn flash though.
Yeah. I think TP coming up again. He's probably just going to TP back top lane. And again, it's just a bunch of nothing, right? As everyone moves and congregates back at the Rift Herald, I imagine he's just going to TP back there.
Hole breaker.
It wasn't
rushed
Sterix.
Hullbreaker.
It was Hullbreaker. No
This is
way.
Oh, it's okay, guys. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm not gonna say that it's terrible. It's okay.
What's going through your brain right now, though, Aragon? About
It's
a hole breaker?
imploding a
It's
little bit.
imploding.
Yeah, it's just a little bit. This item is terrible on Renekton. I mean, it makes sense. Like, so here's his thought process, right? Hullbreaker gives a bunch of mixed resist. Kennen cannot wave clear the cannon minions, and like he is super tanky for the side. That's the big idea. But there's a load of flaws with Hullbreaker in general in that you get no CDR. Right, and you're a very CDR dependent champion, as well as the whole point in Renekton is to come to dragon fights, to come to neutral objectives, and spread your lead that way. You're not meant to just sit inside forever, and you're not good at it, right? You can't take towers that well. That's why you never see this build. It's because it's not very good. But I'm not an item Andy usually, so I'm gonna drop it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't like tuttling on that. As we see more posturing for this dragon, just segue it there. I want to see who finds the engagers. Let's see Indecision pull the trigger.
Yeah, well, he needs to. He's actually caught up in levels to Pipibat, so there has been a recovery, Foxy.
There has. I was gobsmacked. He literally killed like 3 camps and got 2 levels out of it. Like, catch-up XP was working overtime on that one. He's definitely back in the land of the living.
Level behind now.
Does look like there's a tension towards this mid lane, or this Herald actually. Looks to be the game plan on that front. Both teams have rotated over. Honestly, this could just be the fight. Instead, Vanir do not want anything to do with it. They're going to turn their attention towards that dragon and just trade objective for objective here. And Kitano probably a little bit scared that his entire team were moved away from him. But it looks like top lane just isn't a lane, and they don't even care about it. So the attention is going to go towards that mid, where the Herald's going to go down. Pipibat does get that soul, turns into the big stingray. And now the question is, are they going to be able to defend this
Rift
tower?
Herald?
I don't think they are, because that's a whole team. That's going to be a big engage. A bit of a flunder there. They do find the knock up. They can put up the Azir tower if they want. PPBat dodging away on Seneca as they can't finish up the eye from the Herald. So it does get another charge off as Vanir trade objective for objective, but they lose out on a tower for that.
Yeah, but both teams are looking really shaky. Either they're just terrified of losing this game because of all the implications. They opt to cross map, for example, rather than like contest either objective. And then what I praise Nord for so much is their synergy, their ability synergy. You could see in previous games they would press their engages at the exact same time. If you freeze frame, they both turn to the same enemies at the exact same time. And I don't know what we just saw there, but that was not it, right? You saw Seneca engage on his own, hit nobody. You see the exact same thing with the indecision as Rift Herald is crashing. Maybe some nerves, or just not great gameplay coming out from the side of Nord. Still, I think they come out winning here. They get the Rift Herald and they get that tower, and they only lose a Cloud Drake first dragon to Vanir.
Well, that's a 1.5k advantage Hiddo in that bot side, which is a little surprising considering there wasn't a lot of attention paid to the bot side. It was mostly just in that 2v2. You mentioned the win rate statistics of Kai'Sa into Xayah. Who had the advantage there? Was it the Xayah?
It's the Kai'Sa by far. Kai'Sa is winning into every AD carry.
Oh,
as
you sure about that? It looks like that is the end of Liam Cole.
Now
nice
that
curse,
is a
bro.
caster curse. That is a sick curse right there. Honestly, perfectly delivered, perfectly timed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's regardless of what the stats say, I don't know.
Stats don't matter. If Aragon says one thing, the opposite happens.
That's actually true. Yeah.
Same with
That's
predictions.
true.
We should put you in one of those boxes and make you make predictions at fun fairs.
Who's going to win this game, Aragon, in this state right now?
In this state right now, it's going to be Nord easily.
All right,
If I was a betting man, put your money on Vanir.
Vanir, I expect to see the comeback coming through here. I'm excited to see how they manage to pull that one off. Not sure how it will happen, but Aragon has spoken.
No, in all seriousness, this is where like stats are kind of fake, right? Because I believe Nord is the better team. And so they're probably carrying the Xayah win rate in that way. Still, I want to see what Liam Cole can do with this pick. We've seen time and time again that this champion is just not okay, but, maybe it's counteracted by the fact that the other team has Rel. And I'm not going to go back to Rel and keep harping back about Rel, but still. Lots of river control, contesting going on right now as Nord tried to look for these picks. Loads of times, Indecision tried to find the engages, but they just do not connect. And he's actually managed to catch up a bit in CS. He's not too far behind. Something interesting to note is that he's actually itemized a Barmy Cinder, but like for any junglers out here, have a look at Rel Q's tooltip on the wiki and notice the monster damage, bonus damage. At max rank Q, you actually gain bonus 500 damage every single Q onto monsters, which means you don't really need Barmies that much, or at least there's an argument to not, so potentially consider that. Still doing okay, falling behind a little bit of CS as a play comes out topside.
Yeah, that's like Harbo is just going to have to concede this tower. And honestly, it kind of started to feel a little bit like Vanir just doing a whole lot of nothing now. Like, they are really struggling. And crazy enough, the one lane which is actually being active is top. Kitano has a farm lead over Kakos, and he's about to take a tier 2 tower. I actually don't think anyone's going to get there in time. He's got that hole breaker, so yeah, Kitano cracks in on the tower, forces a teleport out. May lose his life for this, though, as Omen has jumped forward. Kakos gets the stun down, finds the ult as well. Kitano flashes away. Seneca is in the area. Kitano gets himself a heal, but down he goes. Shut down, but yeah, like
look at Baron.
A lot committed on the other side. This is going to be a very quick Baron into this team. Indecision has to be decisive and make this play happen. But when you've got the Belveth, when you've got Nazir, towers go down quick as Garfield finds himself rooted in place, flashes away. Baron's been secured. PPBat gets upgraded. He's going to try and find the knockback. There's Harbo out of there. Seneca can't find the opening, and Vanir, they just got away with murder.
They robbery for the Nash right there. It's a perfect response. I mean, I don't know what Nord were thinking. They sent so many people down the bot side. Garfield's Dunzo. I'm not sure. Yeah, he's 100% Dunzo.
He's gone.
They dedicated a TP from Omen to that bot play. Oh okay. Yeah,
Jump scare.
Okay, okay. Wait. Pause a little sec here.
Two people.
Too much from Nord bot side. Okay, which led to that. Even Rakan was parking bot. I have no idea what Senegal was. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. But still, too much bot side opens up the top side of the map for Vanir. And as long as Vanir just don't lose members,
word.
like that was really good. They snuck it, they ran away, it was looking great. There were 2 kills though, of course, on the other side there. So kind of neutralizes it a little bit, but still big win for Vanir. And this is perfect. If you're a hole breaker top laner, that is what you want to see, right? Like you're just so smug. You got the tower. You know, you got everything you wanted, and you drew all that attention, and then your team took the Baron. It's perfect. He's loving life.
Yeah, that was real big for them.
I will say that trading 4 kills for the Baron, you know, it's really dependent now on how Vanir actually use that Baron buff they have on. I think it's PP-Bat and who else? Like one other person.
Liam
right?
Cole.
To make up, Liam Cole, right? To make up for the fact that you just gave up 4 kills. Sure, you secured the Baron. Sure, you secured tier 2, but like that's a lot of gold given over. Look at the Tristana, right? Tristana's on 2 items now, and they're even winning out on these sieges. You can see Kitano is desperately trying to play split push here and maybe cross map a tier 2 turret, but still. I feel like, honestly, Nord come out ahead here. Oh my god, that army.
Fishies.
Yeah, Zerg rush.
Yeah. And like Kitano's topside again. And there's no one here to deal with him. He knows he's safe this time. Hole breaker, stride breaker, tower breaker. Kitano is going to make quick work of this. Hido's going to try and come deal with him. And I think Kitano is going to try and run away. They force Seneca to ult to try and catch Kitano here. He pops his ultimate. Can he find a turnaround? I don't think he can. He gets the slow onto Seneca, dashes away once, and has brought a lot of attention his way. Featherstorm and all. He burnt 2 ultimates. Meanwhile, his team take mid.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what's happening.
I understand.
I feel like you just...
I can tell you exactly what's happening here.
Okay,
Aragon
Jake.
said that Nord were the better team. That's what happened.
Honestly, you're not
It's
right.
true. It's actually true. I said Hullbreaker was bad and Nord was better, and the exact opposite happened.
Oh, PP-Bat actually may go... As soon as you say the opposite, Nord start playing well.
This is ridiculous.
Aragon,
this is
you're
actually
insane.
ridiculous. I mean, I'm a bit lost for words. Aragon's amazing prediction skills, slightly opposite, but either way, prediction's a prediction. But Vanir though, I will give credit to them. I think they are taking advantage of perhaps some suboptimal decisions, I would say, around the map from Nord. But it looks like all's well, it ends well for them. They are, they still pick up that kill onto Renekton. They are going to take that tower down as well. They have lost 2 towers in mid. The first one was after the Baron play. The second one there after that Renekton top. But just imagine if Vanir had like a strong split pusher instead of Renekton. Like, this is obviously working to a certain degree, but we saw what Clover was able to do last game on that static Shiv LeBlanc, who is arguably, I would say, fairly confidently a better split pusher. Kitano's still able to make it happen. This kind of strategy, if you're able to execute it well, certainly can pay dividends. And so far, Vanir are, they're definitely benefiting from it. Nord now looking to position for just getting some vision down, as Baron and Dragon will be spawning at the same time. All right, so that's kind of important. We might see some more handshakes, so we could see some things exploding.
Yeah, I think if you're the side of Vanir here, you definitely do concede these fights. You look at the item breakpoints that have come out right now. It's like 3 items for Hido. All that funneling has done them extremely good amount of gold onto the right targets. Omen just killed that tier 2 tower, so he's probably completed whatever item he has. He's building towards there. It looks like bot components, but also probably something else. Yeah. Still, shield bow coming out, to prevent any burst. They're on 3 items compared to the carries of 2, right, on the side of Vanir. So I imagine they're probably going to concede this upcoming dragon, which is in a minute's time. It is only the second dragon towards Nord's side, and it is a cloud. You don't really care as much as if it was something else.
There's actually a Chemtech, but I think the point still stands.
Wait. Oh. Next dragon's cloud.
No, it's Chemtech, or on a Chemtech map. It's a visual bug with both Hextech and Chemtech dragons. Their icons don't update. It's really weird.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense because we do have the empowered plants. Yeah, you're right. It is definitely Chemtech.
Kitano trying to see if he can win this fight versus Omen, but I don't think he can. There's going to be the damage. The flash forwards. Yeah.
Don't you just love it when the AD carry face tanks you in melee range and comes out on top? Kitano, unfortunately, not having the damage right there. 0-3-0 to that 4-0, and that shield bow coming in clutch.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to flame AD carry. And the shield bow didn't even get popped, by the way. I like to flame the AD carry and be like, the roll's over-tuned. The items are strong, but I think Kitano's just very far behind, unfortunately. Just probably making his life somewhat harder on that front, as Vanir are just trying to catch the waves and kind of catch up in items at this point. That's going to be their real condition. Like you said, they're pretty okay to give up this Chemtrek Dragon. Yeah, it would be their third, and yeah, it would be sole point, but I think their relative power on the map isn't there. And they'd rather not risk Dragon and then trading it for Baron.
I reckon at this point, Nord can just take whatever they want. Omon's actually going to take down Dragon by himself, so Nord don't even have to concede much on the map to secure it still. Obviously, with Renekton having died and just respawned, there's no pressure being put on there. And this is a really sneaky Nash, like super sneaky Nash. They went from over the back of the wall. They've completely stripped the vision. Nord have no idea this is happening. Now they do, but it might be too late.
Yeah, Garfo's going to play for this lockdown. There's going to be the knockback. Harbo tries to get away. He gave his life for the cause. Not sure that was the right play. He died with his support. Either way, Baron secured. 3 members with it now. Vanir, they bought himself a little bit more time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is a really peculiar game. It feels like Vanir is out macroing, but it's 10-1, right?
Yeah.
It's a really weird one. With Vanir getting more neutral objectives, you know, securing 2 Barons, one of them being a sneak, and despite that, just having nothing. Right, really odd. Potentially, you know, these fights that they're taking are just not coming in. And all the times when they take these objectives, they always die. You know, on the back end of them. So, yeah, go ahead, Foxy.
Yeah, I think what's important about this Nash specifically compared to last time is now Kitano has the Baron buff. Before it was him getting collapsed on in that side lane. That led to the Baron being taken, so obviously he didn't get it, but he was alive this time. So really, if we want to see this, if we want to see the split push Renekton, this whole breaker Renekton really pop off and do things, this is the time for it to happen, right? He's got the Nash buff. Can Vanir really leverage this and do something with it? I feel like this is their window, right, to really show us what their game plan is about. If nothing else, it should buy some time for, you know, Liam Cole to like get that 3rd item, for Azir to start scaling as well. The fact that this guy is okay, he's just finished his mythic here with that Ginzu's, so he's in a much better spot now. But that item, that, you know, that CS difference, the item difference between ADCs is a ginormous at this point. And Vanir really just needs to buy some time, and maybe this Baron buff can do it.
Yeah, I think the problem is, right, that you've tried to play side lane with Kitano, but your side lane win condition just fell apart the second that Tristana got those 3 kills in a skirmish in the mid game, and now you just have no win condition because you get out team fought, right? You get out team fought by the combination of the back to front team fighting as well as the
Zerg.
The Zerg rush. I might have
in.
to hold that, as this is terrifying, guys.
They got the tower up as well, so they have a relative area of safety.
Oh my
They
god!
can't hang around.
Tristana just blows them all up in one order to attack. Okay. What was this you were saying about Tristana squashing the win condition of Vanir? The win condition, the hopes, and the dreams. All just gone. Taken away.
Oh,
Yeah, and-
they might just squash Omen. They've got Solar Flare. PPVAT's able to dash away. Are they going to play the interrupt? It looks like they're just going to go for the recalls instead. Decide not to go for it. Game plan is not to coin flip killing a Tristana with Shield Bow. And Guardian Angel. Totally didn't even notice the Guardian Angel, so that's going to be their game plan. Not do that. And just continue to try and farm up as much gold as possible. Right now, there are no towers outside the base for Nord anymore. Yeah. They have lost every tower. I mean, the only towers left in the game are the Inhibitor and Nexus towers at this point. So both teams have opened up the map fully versus one another. And it's really just kind of catching up on item breakpoints and levels is really the big game here for the side of Vanir. As Liam Cole one more level away from maxing his ultimate. And Kitano, about to hit level 18. About to get his Guardian Angel as well, which means his side lane escapades may be a little bit safer.
Yeah, a minute till Dragon, right? And they've actually managed to push mid into invading the top right side of the map, and they placed a ward down there. Potentially, we could see a nice TP flank coming in from Catchcross in the next Dragon fight. That's what I'd like to see. I'm kind of dying for any kind of action, I won't lie, guys. This one has been a bit, you know, it's the weirdest 10-1 game, the quietest one ever. Still, pushing in that bot side, I imagine Omon could just hit this in Renekton's face right here. He doesn't have to be scared of anything. As, yeah, Kitano has to just run away, and the siege is going to go down.
Yeah, that's real rough.
Indecision.
Indecision, Hex flashes over the wall, the tower's under fire, and it looks like Vanir just were not set up to even think about contesting that one. PvPat jumps onto Kakos just to get a little bit of damage off. The turret goes up to buy them some space, but Omen with a Guardian Angel and a shield bow is just nigh on unkillable for them right now. They have to find a pick onto him without overcommitting before they can really take a fight. They are going to get a bunch of damage off from Harbo, who's not even finished his third item yet.
Yeah,
Worried.
you could... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just worried about well, Vanir as a whole, to be honest, they've definitely got me worried.
Yeah.
But I don't understand Belveth Renekton. I just you know, they haven't been able to do anything in this game, obviously, and I do feel like, you know, you pick these champions for the skirmishes, for more early pressure, for securing objectives and whatever. Like, the fact that the individual strength of Belveth compared to Rel is like so much in Belveth's favor is great, but they've not been able to do anything with it. And I think even just in theory, it was always going to be difficult, right? Because you don't have pressure in any of your solo lanes. And it's just that's exactly what's happened, right? They've done nothing with these picks, and as this game progresses, I don't know what they can do. I don't think there's anything that's going to be going on here. I just don't see how these two champions will have any impact in this game, and that might just be the story of it, honestly. Like, as far as this draft goes, maybe it's just not really working out for Vanir here, as nor really do look like they're going to be setting up to close this game out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you can see what Nord are doing right now. It's what they did for that dragon just a minute ago, right? They keep pushing in top and mid, and keep Vanir in their base until they can move backwards to their Baron and rush it down. As Vanir are scared of face checking, all that vision controlled by Nord in their jungle. They did the exact same thing in the bot and mid lane, and now they're just going to rush it. Or are they? Are they potentially going to try and bait it out? With that engage, the threat from the Rel and the Kennen.
Let's see if they're going to go for it. Baron already low. This is going to be a very, very hard contest from the side of Vanir, if not even possible. They actually cancel it off to try to go onto PvPat. PvPat able to survive for now. Indecision jumps in the Magnet Storm. There's going to be a huge ulti coming in from the slicing Maelstrom from Kakos, and this fight is over before it even started. Or is it? Hino able to tidy it up. It looked close. It looked tense, but they're able to survive. The teleport coming in. Kitano. That is a sad crocodile. Hino gets the ace. And that should just be game.
Yeah, just TPing up topside Catchcost. You can see he's already there. I imagine that Oman will follow alongside his AD carry Hino, and they're just going to end. The TP timers are just too long, right? The respawn timers, rather. Garfield's alive in 10 seconds. Can he realistically do anything?
I think if Tristana didn't TP to kill Renekton, I don't know what.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why she did that, but if she TP'd to try and end the game, like 100%, this would have been over. I think it still is, to be honest. Death times that anyone that's important to defend are way too high. Garfield's not going to be able to do it himself. He's trying. He's drawing them anyway. He may have done it, you know. He's done it. He's saved.
There ain't no way.
Oh my goodness, this is just. I mean, you're gagging for some action, Aragon. We finally got a good fight. And we might even get some more. There you go. You get what you asked for here.
That has to be Baron, though, right? That just has to be Baron. The support is down. Who can face stick? Katana does have TP. Maybe he can make it in time. But we saw before how fast it was going. I thought it was even gone. How does PvPat actually approach this when he's versus double AD carry? And the reality is he doesn't. Baron does go over to side of Nord, and now you can imagine they're all going to... Yeah, look at the pings coming down now. You see they're going mid and bot lane, probably for that inhib in the bot lane, and sieging mid at the same time, probably placing Tristan bot.
Yeah, this is probably going to be a little bit over for the side of Vanir. They tried their hardest, but the game has moved away from them a little bit too quick. And the sad thing is Kitano is actually, like, really farmed, but it kind of just goes back to the point of, like, they weren't able to do what they needed to do early. So, yeah, you've got a late game Renekton. Woo. Like, it doesn't really achieve anything for them. And
I think they're dead.
I think Kitano may just lose his life as he gets himself caught out by the Magnet Storm. Solar Flare buys a bit of space. Omen tries to jump in forwards the slow. Is there going to be enough? His indecision keeps the pressure up. They actually look to jump onto Kitano. They burn a lot to try and get him. He's got the shield from his Sterix to keep him alive, but Omen finding the resets, jumping in onto Garfield. Garfield is being toasted, able to survive just a little bit longer. Harbo now desperately trying to see if he can hold on. His tower has bought a little bit of time for his team, but Kekos has that slicing Maelstrom, and I think this may just be the game here. Vanir going to be running out of options, running out of ability to hold on to this game, as Harbo is going to have to do one hell of a shuffle if he's going to try and pull this one back. He's looking for it, catches onto Omen, but Omen has the shield bow, has everything up and available. The res from the GA, the triple kill from Hiddo. And that is the game going to Nord.
It was a slow bleed out, really, wasn't it? But Vanir, I mean, they tried. It was just never really going to happen. Nord with a good game plan. I think it was a little bit an uphill fight for Vanir right from the get-go, right from the champion picks. Like, they just weren't able to execute what they needed to execute. And Nord, we came into this game, Aragon specifically was like, I think Nord's a better team, with playoffs on the line as well. It's the question, who is going to get that last spot? There's more than just one spot available. Realistically, there's one like big juicy spot, the last spot available in playoffs, and Nord were favourites to do that. Vanir could have made an upset to try and sneak in, and this just was not it. And to be honest, it's a bit depressing because it wasn't even like a well fought, like, it's the end of the season, we can do it boys game. It was a whimper. It was just lame and uneventful. So a little bit disappointing there for Vanir, unfortunately.
I don't know. I can remember the last time I watched a game of League of Legends where one team had one kill after 31 minutes of play, and it felt relatively close still.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this was there was a lot of towers and objective focus this game, Aragon.
Yeah. You know what I think it was? I think both teams just seemed terrified. Right, like when you build a Hullbreaker first from Renekton, you've committed to yourself that you are never team fighting them, right? So Vanir, they just decided before the get-go, guys, we can't team fight, and in the end, we just see no action come out, and that is partly due to the champions that I think Nord drafted. And I quickly went over to check out what the win rate is of Rel right now. I believe in the support position, she has a 90% win rate. And in jungle, it's like 75 or something like this. So, and that's NLC only, right? I think when you're that terrified of it and you commit yourself to playing split push Renekton, maybe take it away.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a little bored of this rail. Also, that game was just such a snooze fest. No beating around the bush.
They're scared.
Nothing happened.
They're terrified.
Absolutely nothing happened. And yeah, it does kind of boil down to them being scared of the rail, but the Renekton just got absolutely slammed in lane. Like, the Kai'Sa, Leona couldn't really achieve anything because they had a Belveth jungle, and the Rel was just scarier. The Azir just wants to kind of get items and just clear waves, so they're not going to do anything, while Tristana is going to be super proactive. I don't know, man. That was a pretty rough draft, and I will say it raises a few concerns that Nord took that long to close that game out. That game
I wasn't impressed by Nord either.
that close.
Yeah.
But, like, that's kind of almost been the story of the day, right? Like, teams that should have won really struggled to win.
Yeah, we did see that a bit early as well.
Hello, I have to restart my mic.
Right, yeah, excellent.
Yeah, there we go. Remember, you need to turn on your sound card after you replug it. That's a pro tip out there. No, but I wanted to say here, right, like the point you bring up here, couldn't you say that's kind of this the counterpoint to that could be that they're just doing like the slow and steady wins to raise approach, or what's the situation?
Not when you give up that much. They gave up a lot. Like, they gave up 2 dragons, all of their towers outside their base. Like, that is, obviously there's always a thing about making like a positive trade where you'll trade like a tower for maybe 2 towers or a tower and an objective, but like, you're actually just giving a lot of gold over to the enemy team because you're kind of almost ignoring that Renekton in the side lane. And I guess the good news was they were giving that gold to the Renekton, who was pretty useless. But I do feel like while they were making some good calls, there were also some questionable calls in the sense of like, they weren't doing much, but they were still losing objectives to the side lane. So I think, going forwards, and obviously playoffs is on the eyes of Nord right now. They are looking as our potential 4th team, and most likely, I believe, of the teams in the running for that last spot. They're going to have to really get themselves together if they want to compete with the likes of Ruddy and Verdant and Natives in the playoffs.
Yeah, and like again, we've spoken a lot about Oman all throughout the season, right? Like his only death this game, I believe, was a pretty peculiar situation in the mid lane, which is like the only kill that Vanir got for like most of the game.
How did he die again? I can't
tried-
remember.
I can't remember
He
either.
tried.
He jumped under the tower and then he only showed up.
and then randomly Garfield just comes in and says hello.
Yeah, right in the beginning, yeah.
And like in my notes, I just put that down as like Oman doing Oman things, right? As in like this is like an aggressive Oman player just gets like punished by like a random Leona that shouldn't be there being there.
I'm cool with that play, honestly. Even though Omen, you know, it was a bit, a bit unfortunate and looked a little bit silly in the end of it. Like I like it when players want to take that initiative and like have that aggression. Yeah, it didn't quite work out, but I still think it's cool. On the other side, though, I did mention like the fact that Vanir, Harbour, and Liam Cole hadn't played their champions before, and I think this was the lifeless that I've seen Harbour and Liam Cole. I don't want to sound too rude, because I know I've already been mean to Vanir as a whole, but genuinely in that game, it just didn't seem like there was anything. Do you know what I mean? Like any sparkle life or anything like that at all. It just, and I wonder if that's just uncomfort on the picks or whatever.
And the problem, I completely agree with you, Foxtrot. The problem was there was no life in the mid game, which is where, like, before the game started, I set them up as a team who loses early, right? That's guaranteed. Which then you beg the question, why on earth are you picking Reknekt and Belveth? Sure, they have to convince themselves they can win early games, but they never do. But there was no magic mid game. They always have magic mid game, right? They find engages, they find flanks, they do something. But this game, there just wasn't anything, and who knows why that is? But yeah, they rolled over and died. It was really unfortunate.
That's oh yeah. Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
There's nothing more to add. There's actually nothing more to add. It was genuinely. I think there was mistakes made on both sides, but that was a sleeper, man. That was such a sleeper game. Jeez.
Yeah, well, so like, let's try to like think about the draft coming through from the Vanir side of things, then, right? Because I think that's if you wanted to have a champion with this like heavy side prior, where you want to have like Hullbreaker and these type of this type of priority, could they have gone with a different top laner here, Aragon, that could have made the work? I'm thinking Jax, Fiora, those champions. Like, would that fit better into this draft other than the Renekton? Or was there a specific purpose, do you think, for this Renekton?
So I think this was a last-minute adaptation to go Hullbreaker and play as a side laner when they realized they just could not, because the whole idea of picking Renekton early on in the draft is, you pick your top laner, blind pick your top laner, a very blindable champ, right? You could see he didn't lose lane despite being countered. He was fine. And that's why you pick it. So you free up room for your teammates to get draft resources later, counterpick and stuff like this. So you pick your early game Renekton. The problem was he then got into game and he realized, guys, I just cannot function into this. We cannot team fight, right? So it was other draft issues. It wasn't the pick, because the reason they picked the champ in the first place was to give resources to other players and to have a blind pick. You can't blind pick Jax or anyone like this as easily.
Yeah. I mean, that's... It's hard to kind of break it down, because like it kind of comes down a lot to the draft difference. I mean, entirely down to the draft difference. You gave the rel up. Rumble got banned as well, so there was no there was the Rumble rel, but they gave up the rel and then also gave up the Xayah Rakan in the first phase of the pick and bans, and their answer was Renekton,
Kai'Sa,
and then was it Azir? Yeah. And then they blind picked the next. Yeah, so the Belveth was their last pick. So yeah, they picked their jungle last, which is crazy. And then had nothing. They couldn't do anything. They picked this Belveth, and there didn't seem to be a game plan beyond that point. And I'll give it to the side of Vanir. They made that game closer than it should have been, because that game was definitely made way harder by the draft. But I also think that's more of a Nord problem than it is a Vanir positive, because it feels like Nord should have just been able to win that game.
It was ugly.
Yeah, and I kind of want to touch on something quickly here as well, because this is not the first time we've seen PvP play this Belveth this season, and the other time he played it also felt kind of felt. I'm struggling to figure out which game it was. I can't remember exactly, but we have seen it from them before in a very similar game situation where he just couldn't accelerate this Belveth. So would that have been that needed X factor for this composition? Have that hyper carry in the jungle potentially to come online, Foxtrot?
I just took a cheeky look and it was the natives game he played the Belveth against. The thing is, like, I don't think so. I don't really like the Belveth pick, because I don't really. I think it's good for skirmishes, and it's good if you've got someone that can set up ganks with you. So someone like Renekton actually isn't a terrible champion with it, but like next into Kennen, it's very difficult to make those plays happen. And they did try, early, right, to get some of those ganks, and almost worked. Like, you remember the kind of fail flash thingy from Gitano early. It's just like in this game specifically, it felt utterly useless. And even if you pick Belveth to get an advantage, then you win the skirmishes and you use that to, like, set up dives or objectives, whatever. Belveth got the advantage. She was strong compared to the enemy jungler. 2-level advantage for a lot of that kind of like around that 10-minute mark. But absolutely nothing came of it. And I just think maybe if you pick a more of a facilitating jungler and you can set up Liam Cole or the Azir or something, because again, they did nothing either. I honestly just don't know what was the specific problem. Everything just didn't look. Everything looked wrong. Everything looked wrong, and I don't know what it was that specifically it boils down to. But I do kind of pinpoint the Belveth pick specifically as being like, what's the point? Like, literally, why have you picked this champion?
So the fundamental reason is champ pool issues, right? If you take a look at PipiPat's OPGG, okay, out of the last 20 games of solo queue he has played 18 games of Belveth, and this man loves Belveth. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to accommodate his style into competitive, right? But that obviously brings on a bunch of limitations. And we just saw it there, right? Evidence there. The man just loves Belveth, and regardless if it's good or not, I think they'll try and find a way to draft it. I think it's more an issue of champion pool and rating comfort that highly versus the meta.
All right. We've been treading waters for a bit, so let's get Nico here on a call quickly so we can get a few very quick thoughts on this game. It was long, not a lot of kills on the enemy side. It took you guys a little bit too long to kind of close out this game. What happened?
I mean, to be honest, like, we are all really disappointed about how the game went. I don't know if it was choke again or not, because it was the game that we really don't want to lose. I mean, with the one against Domino tomorrow also, but this one we really didn't want to lose it. So I can understand that the player were feeling a bit afraid. Our communication was a mess. My jungle, like, I don't know, like, he didn't want to farm for like 3 minutes. He was like fucking level 6 when everyone was like level 9, 10, and he was like, guys, I need to farm. And I was like, yes, indeed, you need to. And he was like, 1 minute after, guys, I need to farm still. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't. So, and like, I don't know, like, everyone was like on the weird spot, but at least we managed to do really good team fights, even if the macro part was really shit. But we managed to do really good team fights, so I'm still happy for that.
Yes, very quickly. This is going to be very short because we are kind of running out of time here. Tomorrow, how will you ensure that the guys are not mentally boom?
I have no idea yet. I trust them to, for now, to get this experience here for today as a lesson, because for sure, like, no one played like that. So I know they have the knowledge. I know they have the capability to be good and to click well. So I just trust them to be like professional and just switch the mindset. I have nothing to say more. They already know what we think about the game. It's just one more game, I need to double check, but I think that even if we lose, we might have a tiebreak between Dominos and us. So
I think so too, Nico. I'll say again, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk there as well.
Thank you.
In the meanwhile,
Bye.
we are going to go to a short break. When we come back, we're going to have even more action from the NLC.